What is your American dream?
I would like to see a society that is run not for profits, but for human rights, the right to health, the right to education, the right to housing, the right to age gracefully, the right to take care of young children so that the burden doesn't fall on the family, primarily women. So a society that is based not on profits, but on human need.
Everyone has a right to the American dream.
Groundhog Sam! Hi, everybody! Groundhog Sam here. Happy Friday! And more importantly, Happy International Women's Day! Woohoo! You know I'm a ladies' groundhog. I'm down for the ladies. I think they're amazing. So I'm going to go around the office and give some of the women a rose. Stay tuned. As you all know, some of my favorite women are the women of the call center at Bernstein. So today, we celebrate the ladies of the call center.
That's right. Oh.
Ladies of the call center, Happy International Women's Day! Oh, you're the best. You ladies all work so hard.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Happy International Women's Day. Mwah. Happy International Women's Day.
Thanks, Roundup Sam.
You're welcome. How's your bowl doing?
It's right in the kitchen.
Awesome. Safe. Happy International Women's Day! Well, that was a lot of fun, and I'm glad I got to put a smile on all the women of the Bernstein call center's faces. Anyway, now's the time you've all been waiting for. It's time for Brad Show Live, starring Brad Bernstein and Yonathan Yo-Yo Elias. Enjoy!
Welcome, everybody. It's Tuesday, March 8th, 2022. Happy International Women's Day. Yonathan Yo-Yo Elias, a man who knows a lot about women.
Yes, that's why I'm wearing red.
That's right.
Like
How
the roses.
are you?
I'm good.
All right.
Good.
How many people have you wished Happy International Women's Day?
Whoever is on my social media.
You did. Every last one of them.
Yeah, there you go.
As long as they were female.
Yeah,
Okay.
It is International Women's Day.
All right, there
Yeah.
you are. Well, happy International Women's Day. Let's say hello to the squad. Jennifer Anderson Sam. Happy International Women's Day. Jessica Levy. Happy International Women's Day. Dip Fab Cake Affairs. Happy International Women's Day.
You set yourself up.
Yeah, I did. Jewel Delph. Happy International Women's Day.
There you go.
Mickey, Forever Bless. Happy International Women's Day. Willie L. Williams. Squat up. Carol Anderson the Tiger. Happy International Women's Day. Deborah Sal. Happy International Women's Day. Myrtle Ray. Have a happy International Women's Day. Lisa Bling Rose.
Oh, yeah.
I said Myrtle Ray. And Violet Blackwood. And Tanique Evans, I wish you all happy International Women's Day. Dawn Harriet, I wish you as well. Yvonne Stewart, I wish you as well. And Shani Boss Lady Shan, wishing everybody happy International Women's Day. Let's go over to YouTube. Susie Q, happy International Women's Day. And the Top Cat Tigress too. Double fisting. I wish both of your fists happy International Women's Day. We're going to forget the men today. All right. And Anu Chandra, happy International Women's Day as well. And Awil Emax. Oh my God, Awil Emax with a new name for Yo-Yo.
Uh-oh.
Yo-Yo Yogurt.
Whoa.
Where did that come from? Why? Because you're so tasty? Why?
Maybe.
Why are you yo-yo yogurt?
I'll take it.
But happy International Women's Day anyway. Willie Evans with a new name for yo-yo. Take it away, Mr. Yogurt.
All right, squad. Like we said, happy International Women's Day. Please, everybody, throw in all your questions right now so we have enough for social media check-in. We cannot stress, if you throw them in right now, it's more than likely that we will answer those questions, all right? Also, please share it on all social media platforms because we're about to start schmoozing. And Brad, he's going to fill us in on the latest headlines, including the new Special Immigrant Juvenile Status rules just issued by the Biden administration. And of course, today is Tuesday, so we're going to be sipping on some celebrity tea headlines, including one story that involves a supermodel, a rapper, and tea.
And tea. Well,
Heidi Klum and Snoop.
Snoop always in the news.
Snoop always.
Is he like the best marketer in the world?
The best, because you know
I
why?
didn't even know that was going to be. I'm like, Snoop again? He's always in the news.
Because that man is accepted by the entire world and is not fake with it. Like, he does what he likes to do, which is chief. You know what I mean? But like, the world loves him.
The world. Why? What did he do that the world loves him? It's so.
It's wild.
It's
wild. It's wild.
It's just his personality, I guess.
It is. He has a great personality, he can mesh with anybody.
He's cool, and he does exactly
that's
what
the Cali. That's the Cali in you.
Right. He crosses over all boundaries. And of course, you can call Spar and Bernstein 1-800-529-5465. The number's scrolling at the bottom of your screen. You could also call us to get on our show. If you call now, we have 2 more open lines, and then we're locked and loaded for the show. So if you call right now, hint, you'll get on in about 10 minutes, probably, or less, 2 minutes.
Right.
Probably 2 people will jump ahead of you. 1-800-529-5465 international, 212-227-8933. It's very hot.
It is.
Very, very hot. I don't know if it's because it's International Women's Day it's hot, but it's hot. Later in the show, in honor of International Women's Day, Yonathan and I are going to play a game to test our knowledge about some game-changing women from around the world. We're playing a game.
Do you remember who won?
You, probably.
I don't know.
My guess is you, but I don't
My
remember.
guess is you.
My guess is you. All right. You ready to schmooze? Let's do it. All right. And by the way, Dawn Harriet says she loves Snoop. He's so real, not fake, and that's probably what it is.
Yeah.
Right. He is just not. He is who he is.
Yeah.
Right.
Unapologetically
who he is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, happy International Women's Day, and this day not only recognizes the achievements made by women, but also aims to raise awareness against bias and promote women's equality worldwide. We already wished everybody happy International Women's Day. It's every March 8th. And the origins of International Women's Day can be traced back to the early 1900s when women became more politically active and took an invested and vocal role in voting rights, fair play, improved working conditions, and representation under the law. Now, gender equality is equal access to the same rights and opportunities regardless of gender. And these rights and opportunities include health care, education, employment, economic gain, equal pay, protections under the law, equal right to vote, freedom from violence, striving for change, holding political office. Just over 100 years ago, there was one woman in the United States Congress. She was Republican Jeanette Rankin. She was from Montana. She made up the men made up 99.8%
Wow.
of the Congress. The women made up 0.2% of the Congress. Fast forward to 2020, Jonathan. 23, almost 24% of congressional seats are held by women. still a way to go.
Still a way to go.
Because if you say women are approximately 50% of society, I believe actually, I don't know this for a fact, but I believe women make up a little more than 50%. There's more women than men. But I don't know that for a fact, but I believe that's true. But let's call it 50-50. There's still a way to go that, you know, if you want really equal representation, 50% of Congress should be women.
Absolutely.
Now, some ways to observe International Women's Day. You wish everybody happy International Women's Day. You could also attend a lecture, a seminar, a festival. You can participate in a march. It's just bringing awareness. So when people wish somebody happy International Women's Day, you're bringing awareness to the whole thing that International Women's Day represents.
Yeah.
Now, some countries with female leaders in 2022. While most countries have been ruled by men throughout the history of the world, Yonathan, more and more women are now becoming leaders of various countries. For example, in New Zealand, Jacinda Ardern, widely credited with enacting policies that led to a halt in coronavirus pandemic. She's the Prime Minister of New Zealand. The small country of Iceland. I heard Iceland is very pretty. I've never been there.
Yes.
I heard it's very pretty.
Really pretty.
They have you been?
My sister.
Oh, okay. Has a female Prime Minister, Katrin Jakobsdóttir. And Iceland, by the way, has a history of electing female heads of state since it became the first country to do so in 1980. Wow, did not know that about Iceland.
Yeah.
You know, if you go to Iceland in the summer, the sun is out 24 hours.
Yeah, which is
the
wild.
sun never sets in Iceland in the
wild.
summer. Now, Sarah, I hope I don't butcher her name. I'm sorry, Sarah, if I do. Kugang Ula. She's the Prime Minister in Namibia. And she became exiled from her home country at just 13 years of age before earning a doctorate in economics. Wow, what a comeback that was.
Wow.
And her fight against corruption and insistence on sound fiscal policies has led to the country's first budget surplus in the history of the United States. You know women know how to budget.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the men who go, who spend every dollar in the bank account.
Yep.
I mean, I would think that if the United States wants to budget, balance its budget,
it would make sense.
it would make sense to go, get a woman in there to be president, right?
Yeah.
Now, Heidi Haney, I'm stereotyping, but it's true,
It's
I
true.
think, right? Heidi Haney was the first female president of the archipelago in the South Pacific known as the Marshall Islands. Dr. Haney was the first Marshallese person ever to obtain a doctorate. Also has a background in education. Nepal has a female leader. Her name is Bidya Devi Bhandari. And Angela Merkel, I think that's how they pronounce it. She was Chancellor of Germany for the last 16 years before stepping down this past December. So there's
Ethiopia got their first female president.
Really?
Yeah, 2018.
Oh, congratulations.
Saleh
to Ethiopia.
Worke Zodi.
Yeah, do
She's
you know
the first female president
and
in
Finland
Ethiopia.
has, I know there's a plenty. Finland has as well. Too many to,
Right.
which is a good thing.
Yeah, that's a great
Yeah.
thing. You would never think Ethiopia would have, like now, that was a big thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, meanwhile,
Representing.
we got to move on from International Women's Day to some immigration news. A Republican judge in Texas has ordered President Biden to enforce Title 42, which is anybody coming to the southern border, whether or not they want asylum or not, can be turned away because of coronavirus pandemic, health-related issues. And Biden was allowing children to come into the United States while turning away adults. And the Texas judge says, Biden, you gotta throw away everybody, get rid of every person who comes here. Which goes back to, why are we even doing this, Yonathan?
Right.
New York City doesn't have a mask mandate. Hawaii just came out today, the last state to have a mask mandate. We are under the belief that at this point in time, the pandemic is under control, yet every person who wants to apply for asylum on the southern border of the United States is turned away under the guise of, sorry, we have a pandemic. Meanwhile, there's plenty of ways you can fix the problem. We have plenty of vaccines.
Right.
We have plenty of antiviral pills. It's all free. Don't you think we can give somebody a vaccine if they're escaping violence?
Yeah.
Rather than go back to your country and perhaps be jailed, tortured, maimed, or killed?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think Biden has to just get rid of this Title 42. And by the way, some good news that Biden did. They updated the Special Immigrant Juvenile petitions. As background, if you are under 21 years old or you know a child who's under 21, every person should consider, for any child under the age of 21, a Special Immigrant Juvenile petition. That doesn't mean that every child in the United States qualifies for a Special Immigrant Juvenile petition, but I would say a large amount of children, I don't know if it's a majority of children who are undocumented, but certainly a large amount of children who are under 21 would qualify for Special Immigrant Juvenile petitions. What you need, and Biden just liberalized the rules even more. We'll talk about it in a second. But I want to make it very clear for anybody out there that knows children or has children who are under 21 and undocumented, you should be listening very closely about the Special Immigrant Juvenile Petition. It is a way to legalize your children, children in your family, such as nieces or nephews or grandchildren, or even children that you're aware of that need to be legalized. Green card. And what you have to do is somebody has to go into family court and get legal guardianship of this child who is under the age of 21. As part of the legal guardianship, you have to be able to prove to a judge that it is not in the child's best interest to be reunited with at least one of his or her biological parents because of abandonment, abuse, or neglect. Almost any child who is in a one-parent home, or any child with a parent who is in another country, at least has one parent in another country, would most likely qualify, presuming that they haven't seen that parent in a long time. You only need one parent. The other parent can go into family court, because sometimes people say, well, I don't want somebody else to become legal guardian of my child. Mm-hmm. The parent who has the child can go into family court. You don't even have to be documented to become their legal guardian. You could be undocumented too and become their legal guardian. And if you get that guardianship with that special ruling, which I just talked about, only takes a few months. Family court in any state, 2, 3, 4 months, done. You can turn around immediately, file an adjustment for that child who's under the age of 21 years old. That child gets a green card. Now, because so many people are doing Special Immigrant Juvenile petitions, there's going to start becoming a backlog of people who are eligible for green cards through Special Immigrant Juvenile petitions. And the reason is it's a weird thing that we talk about categorically where you are on a waiting list. There's an actual waiting list for Special Immigrant Juveniles. They fall in the even though it has nothing to do with employment, it's a humanitarian application. But Special Immigrant Juveniles fall into the fourth preference category of employment-based petitions, because that's where special immigrants are. Mm-mm. And eventually there's going to be a backlog for special immigrants. So what the Biden administration said is, because there's going to be a backlog, there's going to be a visa waiting list for SIJ applications, special immigrant juveniles. If you file your special immigrant juvenile, you can get deferred, you get approved, you can get deferred action, you can get a work permit. Deferred action means you can't get deported. A work permit, you can go do your thing, get your social security number. Even if you're not eligible yet to file your adjustment application. The other thing they did in terms of law changes is they codified that as long as you're a child under the age of 21, you can do this. The Trump administration tried to make a regulation to make it under 18 only. And there were a lot of children between 18 and 21 who got kind of stuck. And there's a lot of litigation that resulted because of this. The Biden administration is now solidified, codified, however identified you want to call it, that you now can be under 21.
Okay.
So that's good news, at least. I mean, there's really no. I don't know how many grandmothers out there. And by the way, grandmas, I'm not anti-grandma. Okay, I'm very pro-grandma. I love my grandma, and I love all the grandmas.
Right.
Okay, but there's a lot of grandmas and there's a lot of aunties out there and uncles and grandpas who are taking care of children because their parents were unable to take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
And they feel, because I've heard this for 30 years, they did all they can because they raised this child.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't do all you can if you just raised this child and let this child grow up to be undocumented in the United States of America. And I am telling you point blank, you can legalize these children. I get this every month where somebody comes in and it's like, oh, I was raised by grandma, I was raised by my aunt, I was raised by my uncle. They never did anything for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Meanwhile, in the Ukraine, at least 2 million refugees now have fled. Today, Ukraine and Russia agreed to an evacuation route for some cities, such as Sumy, which are being surrounded by Russians and being pummeled by mortars and missiles. Ukraine has come out and said they don't believe that Russia is going to actually abide by this corridor.
Right.
They're very concerned that if people try to leave, Russia can go and just drop bombs on them.
Right.
So we'll see what happens on there. The Russian Defense Ministry said 723 people have been evacuated out of Sumy today, and Russia announced that there would be a ceasefire for people to leave this town. The United States believes that Kiev is surrounded right now. They have approximately, according to United States officials, 10 to 14 days left of food and supplies. And after that, I don't know what these millions of people who are surrounded by the Russian military in Kiev are going to do.
Wow.
The United Kingdom has been criticized for its response to the Ukrainian refugee crisis. Under the United Kingdom scheme, people can apply to join or accompany and go to the United Kingdom to live as a refugee only if they have a family member living in the UK.
Oh,
so
man.
if you don't have a family member, you can't go to the United Kingdom and live as a Ukrainian refugee. That's compared to the European Union's policy of if you're a Ukrainian refugee, you get to live and work in the European Union for up to 3 years. Germany has taken in 64,000 refugees. 5,000 have gone to France. 65,000 have been admitted to the United States so far. 6,500, excuse me.
Oh, I was like, what?
No, that's 65,000, 6,500. President Biden has announced that he's going to ban Russian oil.
I saw that today.
Get ready for higher gas prices.
Yeah. It's already started.
And McDonald's, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Starbucks, Unilever, which makes Dove soap, amongst other things, they have all joined the ban in Russia. McDonald's is closing their stores.
Wow.
Starbucks is closing their stores in Russia. Pepsi is refusing to sell soft drinks in Russia. Coca-Cola is refusing to sell soft drinks in Russia. Unilever is refusing to sell soap in Russia. By the way, Russia accounts for almost 9% of McDonald's revenue internationally.
Wow.
So for McDonald's to pull out of Russia and lose almost 10% of their total revenue, that's a big deal.
That's a big deal, yeah.
But Russians, they don't see, unless they have VPNs and they're watching US or Western European news, they only see the sanitized news that the Russian media is presenting to them. that this is not a war. This is a humanitarian incursion to save Russian-speaking people who live in the Ukraine from the Nazi government of Ukraine that's democratically elected, and the guy who is the prime minister is Jewish, but he's a Nazi. And so,
do you think the people of Russia actually is starting to
I think
come
some,
like
I think,
to terms and like,
I
wait,
think some do, and I think some believe that Russia is doing the right thing.
wow.
But eventually, they're going to say, "Hey, why is the world
That's what I'm saying. Like
all
with
up
everybody
against
pulling
us?"
out
You know,
from Russia.
if almost 10% of McDonald's revenue comes from Russia, a lot of people must be eating in McDonald's in Russia,
Yeah,
and all of a sudden they go to their favorite restaurant
and it's closed.
and it's closed. They say, "Why?" And all of a sudden they can't get money out of their bank, and the ruble is so expensive. Why?
I'm looking forward to seeing who else is going to start pulling out.
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday. What you can't negotiate with cancel culture.
Right.
And Putin, in all of his calculations, never considered cancel culture.
Right.
He should have spoken to Kevin Spacey before he invaded the Ukraine, right?
Absolutely.
And on March 5th, the news came out that Russia arrested WNBA star Brittany, is it Griner or Griner? I believe it's Griner, but it could be Griner. She's a WNBA All-Star center for the Phoenix Mercury. She's one of the most, well-known female basketball players in the world. She was playing in the off-season in Russia. She had some vape cartridges that had the odor of marijuana, although there's been no news report saying that she was actually found with marijuana.
Oh, wow.
It was an odor of marijuana that was found by sniffing dogs at an airport. She was arrested and perhaps may spend up to 10 years in jail.
What?
Griner. It's coincidental that this is all happening while the United States and Russia are having this international situation in the war in Ukraine. Russia has in the past used these innocent issues to make huge arrests.
Right.
I can't think of anything more innocent than having an odor of marijuana and arresting somebody. I don't know what's going to happen with this basketball player.
That's scary.
Now it begs the question, why was she in Russia?
Well, you get paid more, first of all.
You get paid
That's
a lot
why I know
more.
a lot of people.
You get paid a lot more.
Especially for women's basketball.
You get paid in Russia. She was making about $1 million for this basketball season in Russia.
You wouldn't even get nothing close to that.
In the WNBA, she is at her maximum salary cap of $228,000 for the year.
That's wild.
Compare that
to like
to what
the $40 million, $50 million
that the guy who's like the
deals.
eighth man on the bench.
Yeah, that's like low end. That's wild.
So here's a situation. If you really want to say, wow, that's irony, and it's sad irony, because this woman could potentially spend 10 years in a gulag.
That would be
that
wild.
She wouldn't even be in Russia
if she was getting
if she was making
pay.
even something close to equal pay what the people in the NBA make. And we're talking about this on International Women's Day.
Right.
I don't care what you say. I see people in the stands at the WNBA. I see people watch the WNBA on television. Maybe it doesn't have the same level of enthusiasm as the NBA. Maybe not yet. But to say that and they can say, well, the WNBA doesn't make as much as the NBA, so they can only pay a certain amount. I get all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But to say the maximum a woman could make as a basketball player in the United States of America is $228,000 a year.
Wild.
And the average NBA male player, what are they making? $4-6 million a year. The max salary that you see people signing $200-400 million year contracts. People who don't even start are on the bench.
Yeah, average salary is 7.9 mil.
The average.
It's average.
And then the maximum for a woman's $228,000. I mean, listen, I understand you can't compare WNBA and NBA. The NBA is more popular, so obviously makes more money, so they can afford to pay their players more. But there's no excuse for that no matter what. And this woman had to go to Russia to play basketball to make more money. And this is what happened. She ends up in the jail.
Man, and then the NBA salary cap, the max from 2019-20 season was $109 million. That's wild.
Yeah. I'm just reading here my notes. Many U.S. lawmakers are worried that Russia could be using Griner's arrest as a form of leverage amidst its war with the Ukraine. And here's some good news coming out of the U.S. Senate, which can't pass anything. Finally, after 200 attempts to pass legislation dating back to 1918, 104 years after the first attempt to pass this legislation, Yonathan, the United States Senate unanimously, all 100 senators, Republican, Democrat, pumpkin supporters, progressives, and everyone in the middle, 100 senators, 104 years after it was first brought up in the U.S. Senate, unanimously passed the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act.
Wait, was it unanimous?
Unanimous.
I thought it was, there was some that didn't.
Unanimous. A bill that would make lynching a federal hate crime. The bill was led by Bobby Rush in the House. It's named after Emmett Till, the 14-year-old black boy who was tortured and murdered in Mississippi in '55. The House first passed the legislation again in 2020. It first failed because Rand Paul, a Republican from Kentucky, objected to some of the language. He then joined as a sponsor, fixed the language, and then voted for it. What it makes illegal is to enter into a conspiracy to hurt, torture, kill, maim, anything, any act, any conspiracy to act with a group, an agreement, and to hurt somebody because of their race. It's 1 century in the making. To say it's long overdue, one analysis found that 6,500 people, mostly black people, they were lynched between 1865 and 1950. And in 99% of the cases, the perpetrators went free.
Of course.
Hopefully, not anymore. Hopefully. You are prosecuted as a lynch. This is what the law says now.
Okay.
I'm going to read exactly what it is. When death or serious bodily injury results from a conspiracy to commit a hate crime. Conspiracy means an agreement. So if I agree with my friend, I don't like you, Yonathan, because you're a black guy, and I seriously hurt you, that would be
going to jail.
Going to jail. And the global COVID-19 death toll surpassed 6 million, according to Johns Hopkins University. World Health Organization Director General Tedros Ghebreyesus tweeted on Sunday, "It's too early to declare victory over COVID. Many countries are still facing high rates of hospitalization. We urge all people to exercise caution." But on Wednesday, the World Health Organization, in its weekly news reports, noted that deaths were falling in all regions of the world. And separately, the White House is rolling out its Test to Treat program. You can go into almost any pharmacy in the United States, get a free test and a free treatment. You can't do it today. There would be no treatment today if you went into the pharmacy and tested positive for COVID, but they are expecting in the next few days and certainly by next week, you'll be able to do it. You ready for some tea?
Yeah, let's do it.
We have some tea? If not, I'll drink water.
I know, we've been drinking water.
We'll drink the water.
Oh, here it is.
Tea? Oh, what happened to the butler? He's here. But we called for tea 10 seconds ago, Butler. You're a little slow.
Well, I had something ready. Hold on. Give me a second.
I've been talking a lot. I need a little tea. What do you have today?
Well, I'm going to break it down for you in a second.
You're going to break it down for me. All right, so we all have to wait and...
Yeah, pour it for you.
Okay. What, you can't tell us what it is while you pour. What is it?
I can't tell it because I have to...
All right, we have no idea what this is, Yonathan. It's chai tea. Thank you very much, Butler.
Chai tea.
But just wanted to give a breakdown. Ready,
Yes.
set, stand. Where the light be. You know it's lit when it's Yo-Yo and Bratty. The walk is mean, fierce, and feisty. Dang, we're hot. We are sweet like chai tea.
Oh,
That's-
Is that the tea breakdown of the day?
That's the tease.
I like it.
All right. I don't want any sugar. The chai tea is very good, though.
It's good. I love it. Got a show, too.
Yes. All right. So the butler pulling out a little rap. Pulling out a little rap. The
He's trying to
butler.
come for Snoop Dogg part.
Yeah. All right. So, by the way, Sean Penn, he got stuck in the Ukraine. Did you see that?
I
He was
did.
filming a movie in the Ukraine,
Yikes.
and war broke out. So
Bad timing.
yeah, he bad time to go film in the Ukraine. He said, we had the luxury of being able to abandon. He got out through the, I guess, the Polish border.
Yeah.
But he said we had the luxury. I'm quoting Penn. We had the luxury of being able to abandon a rented vehicle on the side of the road. It was mostly women and children in all the other cars coming by. In some cases, the father was dropping them off and returning because we know that from 18 to 60, men are not allowed to leave the Ukraine, and they're there to stay in the resistance against Russia. And that was, by the way, that was being enforced. People were trying to bribe their way through. Nobody was taking bribes. If you were a man 18 to 60 and tried to bribe your way through, you were going to jail.
Sheesh.
The men had to stay. Women and children are the refugees for the most part in Europe right now. So the refugees you're seeing is women and children. You're not seeing that many men at all.
Right.
Unless they're elderly.
Older.
And most of them believe they're going to be back. They did not leave with everything, all their possessions. They said, we'll be back in a couple weeks.
Ooh.
That's their belief.
Well,
I hope
guess
that's
we'll
the
see.
case.
I
I
know.
hope that's the case. Well, Sean Penn, he continued. In several miles that we walked after abandoning a car, I didn't see one of those cars move a car length because the line was so slow. And then you get there and you see all those who have walked as well in that crowd. So basically it was miles and miles and miles of car lines that were not moving. So they just literally abandoned their car and
Jeez.
walked to the border. He said, I was glad not so much in the moment, but I was glad to have had the experience of having to see what it was like to go through that border, what it's just to sit there for sometimes days trying to cross. A war is happening, bombs are going off. Even this incredible refugee crisis is full of people who, but for their children, would not be leaving.
That's a scary
Yeah. And he also
experience.
hailed President Zelensky for his handling of the fast-moving and situation. He says, I don't know if he knew that he was born for this moment.
Wow.
Yeah. So Sean Penn did get out.
Oh, and he met up with them, huh?
Do you think, yeah, he met Zelensky before the war started.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You didn't meet him while Zelensky was in the bunker. Do you think it would be a great experience? I think it would be a great experience if more people had to live like an immigrant refugee crossing the border. Sean Penn just lived as a refugee escaping a war. But I wonder if more people lived on the border from Mexico trying to come into the U.S.
I'm sure it'd be a lot more empathy.
There would be a lot more empathy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on Saturday, Elon Musk called President Zelensky and said that his Starlink satellite system will continue to provide internet access to people in Ukraine. Other than that, there would be no internet access. They say this is the TikTok war because more people are getting their news about what's going on Ukraine on TikTok than anywhere else. That's another thing that Putin didn't realize.
Right.
That this was going to be a TikTok war.
Yeah.
And by the way, Mila Kunis, who was, the actress, she was born in the Ukraine. Her and her husband, Ashton Kutcher, they're launching a Ukraine fundraiser. The Hollywood couple announced on Thursday that they've launched a GoFundMe page for victims of Russia's invasion of the country, and they're going to match up to $3 million in donations.
Nice.
While we were witnessing the bravery of Ukrainians, we were also bearing witness to the unimaginable burden of those who have chosen safety. The only thing I see all over the place, I'm just scared that the money gets into the right hands.
Yeah.
Honestly, I see all these
That's
things
true.
all over the place. Donate for Ukraine. I don't know where the money's going.
You don't know where it's going. That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, for someone, hopefully, at least with this one, I'm sure they are going to make sure that it goes to where it needs to go, especially since she's from there.
Yeah, I saw Bethany Frankel raised over $10 million or $14 million, whatever. But again, I don't know where the money's going.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Heidi Klum and Snoop Dogg. What's up with that?
What's a weirder duo, Snoop Dogg and Heidi Klum,
That's
or
crazy.
Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart?
Yeah, they
think
just dropped a music video called "Chai Tea with Heidi," and we're drinking chai tea. I guess that's why. That's why we got chai tea today. Heidi said his statement was truly an honor to collaborate with so many amazing people to create this fun and upbeat music video. I'm still pinching myself to make sure this really happened. Are we allowed to show a clip of this, Jill? Let's try to show a clip.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
It's a fun day on the runway, you can let it go.
When I give my heart again, I know it's gonna last for
I mean,
She's
she looks,
singing too?
Yeah, she's singing too.
I just thought she was just in the
No,
video
it's
dancing
a
around.
duet.
It's a duet.
She looks good.
You know what? This is why Snoop Dogg.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, who would have ever thought Heidi Klum and Snoop Dogg are gonna
come out with
come
music.
out with this? She actually, this is not her first single. She came out with a single, Wonderland, released back in 2006.
It's like a Christmas one, I think.
Yeah. Klum explained that the idea for the single was sparked following the finale of Germany's Next Top Model, when someone suggested she perform the theme song for the reality show next season. Explained the Emmy winner of the collaboration, the hip-hop icon, who's, by the way, you know what Snoop Dogg's real name is?
Is it like Calvin?
Calvin
Yeah.
Cordoza Brodeus Jr.
I
Brodus
just
Jr.
knew about Calvin. I didn't know
Yeah.
Calvin.
Right. She says, I love stepping out of my comfort zone and challenging myself, so it's something I was definitely considering. I knew there's only one person I want to sing with. And you know who that was.
That's smart. That's smart. Snoop is...
Have you seen the whole video?
No.
No. Is that interesting to you?
No.
It's just more interesting just because
Yes.
they did
that
it.
part.
But it's not like you're going to be downloading it on your...
No.
It's not going to be on your playlist?
Nah, that ain't my...
Not
my
your
cup
thing?
of tea. Not my cup of tea.
Yeah. You're more Michael Jackson than
There you
Justin
go.
Timberlake and Heidi Klum.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes. But big ups to her for that.
All right. And by the way, Pete Davidson, he's always in the news, this guy. He's another guy who always seems to be in the news, right?
Lately.
Yeah, well, now he's hitting on Jeff Bezos.
What?
Yes, he's hitting on Jeff Bezos. He got Jeff Bezos to give him a free ride on his rocket ship
Sheesh.
called Blue Origin. According to the New York Post, the 28-year-old Saturday Night Live comedian and his girlfriend, Kim Kardashian, were seen in Bezos' compound in Los Angeles. And when they were done being in the Los Angeles compound, Pete walked out with a free ticket to space.
I wonder how that conversation went about.
Yeah. P's excited to the source. They haven't signed the contract yet, but it looks like it's going to happen. Oh, so it hasn't happened yet.
No.
They got to, but it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen. If they're announcing it, it's going to happen. Now, Pete's following. He's going to sit in the same seat or a similar seat that William Shatner, Captain Kirk, did.
Yeah.
Back in October. You know why they do all of this? You know, they need the press and the publicity because eventually they're going to sell tickets to the public.
Right.
So the public needs to get all excited and frothed to go spend $250,000.
Kanye must have declined.
Kanye must be dying right now. Right? I'm sure he'll be tweeting something about Space Boy soon, right?
Right.
There'll be some sort of Space Boy
of course.
tweet.
He's going back home.
Yeah,
right.
There'll be some rap song about going into space, Hope you stay there.
Right.
Don't come back home.
Basically.
All right, and Lindsay Lohan just signed a multi-film deal. She was a mess. How did she get a multi-film deal with Netflix?
Lindsay comes with mess. People though. She comes because something about Lindsay Lohan. People want her to win. She's a childhood star who started when she was younger, and she's very talented. And it's unfortunate that she fell into, how child stars kind of, go. But
she signed a multi-film deal, 2 films.
That's good.
2 films. By the way,
hopefully she stays good.
By the way, you know who's not going to be able to see Lindsay Lohan in her Netflix movies?
Who?
People in Russia, because Netflix also joined the ban. Canceled Russia. Netflix canceled Russia.
Wow.
Right. Usually Netflix cancels a person when they don't pay.
Right.
This is the first time.
That's the whole country.
They canceled the whole country. So now this exposure is going to catapult Lindsay Lohan, they say, back to the A-list. She was on the D-list for a while.
Oh,
and then there was pictures of her dancing on drugs and Mykonos.
Gaga going out. And,
she was in. I like Parent Trap.
I did too.
And I like Mean Girls.
I did too.
I like both of them.
I did too.
Both very good.
Yeah,
good
that's what I'm saying.
Uncle Brad shows.
Yeah. They were good.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm just hoping that she actually stays well.
Well, we gotta get into our immigration because we started late today. So that's our tea for the day, Yonathan.
Cool.
But we have some TikTok time. And in this edition of TikTok time, I answer questions about filing for family members, expediting an interview, and traveling with a pending I-130. Let's watch. You can't file directly for your nephew. You can file for your brother and include your nephew on the application, but that could take over a decade. There's also adoption, orphan petitions. I don't know what his situation is, and I don't know what his age is, but no direct filing for nephew. You can threaten a mandamus action or actually file a mandamus in federal court to force the U.S. government to do their job. A mandamus is a request for a federal judge to force the Immigration Service to interview you. If you're talking about filing for your cousin to get him his green card, you can't. There's no cousin filing for cousin application. And if you're talking about getting him a visitor's visa, he or she does it on his own at the U.S. Embassy. It's not if you filed the I-130 you get a travel document. If you filed an adjustment with an I-130, you would get an advanced parole travel document. The answer is yes, you can use it. My advice is always don't stay out for more than 4 weeks. It's supposed to be a short, innocent trip abroad and back. All right, we're going to our meat and potatoes. Festus from Houston has been waiting for over an hour. Reminds me of that Seinfeld episode when they came up with a new holiday Festivus. All right, we're going to go to meat and potatoes now. Let's do it. Festus, you're waiting a long time. I love the name. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. What's going on?
Back in 2018, I got arrested with a DUI. The same month I was going to go for my interview. So that
interview for what? Interview for what?
For my citizenship.
Okay.
Yeah. So that result to the refusal.
Right.
So I did some research, and because I didn't get no letter from them, and I did some research. I was told I could reapply back anywhere from 3 years to 5 years. So my question is now, next year will make it 5 years. Do you have advice I reapply again now, or I just wait till the 5 years?
Are you married to a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
In a bona fide marriage?
Yes, sir.
You do your taxes jointly?
Yes, sir.
You live with the woman?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I would do it now. Check off on your naturalization. You are basing your naturalization on 3 years in a bona fide marriage with a U.S. citizen. And the reason why you would do that is if you're doing that and you can prove you're in a bona fide marriage with your spouse, you just have to prove 3 years good moral character, not 5. And then you're past the 3 years from the arrest in 2018. You're all good to go. You're entitled to become a citizen.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome. Let's go to Lisa in Guadalajara. Lisa.
Yes, hi. Thanks
how
for
are
taking
you?
my call. Real short story. I moved to the States 24 years ago on a tourist visa and then switched to an F1. My husband was F1. I was an F2. In the middle of transitioning from the F1, we got hired by a church to work as youth ministers, so we're going to the R1. And then we applied for the R1 and found out that the pastor of the church was a felon and he never filed the paperwork. So we ended up overstaying, and we did not know 3 years had already passed. Fast forward to 2020, we left the United States in July and now living in Mexico. And we just want to know if the only way, if we can come back to the States, if it's not a bar, is through our daughter who is now, we have 2 daughters, U.S. citizens, she's 22. And if it's the only way to get back, if anyway, is through the green card. Or can we go back to a tourist visa?
Well, you cannot get sponsored by your daughter. It sounds like you have a 10-year bar from the time you left the United States. Because
okay. I was told that a 10-year bar doesn't apply to an F1, so that's not the case.
That's not true. Number one,
okay.
Trump changed the law. Number two,
okay.
you were no longer on an F1. You made an application for an R1, which got denied. So
no, it didn't get denied. It was never filed.
Oh, okay. I understand. So
yeah.
The F1, the duration of status, did not prevent you from having unlawful presence anymore. It's now unlawful presence. So from the time you left, you have a 10-year bar. However, you can try a non-immigrant visa waiver, but filing by your children, you're going to have 9 more years of waiting because there's no waiver through your children.
Okay, so the only way to get back to the States is, you said, it's a non-immigrant waiver?
Correct. Perhaps
okay.
as a religious worker for somebody else. I don't know.
No, we don't want to live back in the States. We just wanted to visit because our children was there.
Okay, so you'd have to apply for a visitor's visa, prove that you have enough ties to Mexico that you're not going to overstay your time, and 2, have a waiver based on the reasons to... The waiver for a non-immigrant visa waiver is all the reasons to deny you versus all the reasons to allow you to come in. And the reason why... Well, let me ask you this question. Did you stop going to school, or you were always in school at all times?
Well, not me, my husband. So I was the F2, he was the F1.
You were always in student status, so you was always going to school.
Always was in student status, but then when we got with the church, they said they'll file for the R1, so we were just
stopped going to school.
Correct.
Okay, so then at that point you become unlawfully present by not going to school anymore and not continuing your I-20.
Okay, so nothing can be done basically. So
do a visitor's visa with a non-immigrant visa waiver and keep your fingers crossed.
Okay, I will call your office.
Okay,
thank you very much.
Let's go to Bilal in Jersey City, New Jersey.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's been a pleasure talking to you. So, I have a question. I want to tell you my background. I got married to a U.S. citizen. I am from Pakistan, and I got married to a U.S. citizen who is also my family member. We got married back in 2019.
Whoa. What do you mean your U.S. citizen's your family member?
All right. So, I was married 3 years ago, and I moved to America.
Hold on. Did you marry a family member? What family member did you
Yeah,
marry?
yes, she is my family member, and she was born and raised in America.
What is your relationship? What is your family relationship?
Like it's an extended family. She's from my mother's side.
What does that mean? Is she your cousin?
Yeah, she is cousin, but she's not my first cousin, but she's my second cousin.
Okay.
So she was born and raised in America, but we got married in Pakistan.
Okay.
And like it's been I got married in January 2019, and I moved to America on a spouse visa on July 2021 after 2.5 years of our marriage, and I got 10 years of green card.
What's the question?
So I have been living over here since then, but for the last couple of months, she has started creating problems. She started to torture me physically, mentally, and she is creating a lot of problems. And what she has done recently, she, along with her mother, they both of them forced me to...
You have a 10-year green card?
Yeah, I do have a 10-year green card.
So you don't have to stay with her anymore? Leave.
So they tried to like threat me, they abandoned me, and they were like, I'm gonna leave you and just leave the house. So, and then they tried to snap my green card, but for some reasons I got that.
Bilal, listen to me.
Yep.
You are your own person. You went through the immigration process. You have your 10-year green card. You don't need to stay in an unhappy marriage. You don't have to be threatened by this woman. You don't have to be accosted by this woman. You don't need this person in your life.
All right,
Move out, divorce. You'll keep a green card for the rest of your life. So if you're questioning me about what happens to immigration, nothing. You have a 10-year green card. You're all good.
All right. So, but recently what she is doing, she went to we also have two babies, like one baby passed away, the other baby, like she is only 5 months old. So they forced me to kick out of the house, and in return, she went to the court and she said, New Jersey court, and she said, like, I abandoned the family. I was sexually assaulting her.
Okay, Bilal, this is what you don't need an immigration lawyer. What you need is a family court lawyer, a divorce attorney.
I'm gonna ask you the impact of such things. Like she started blaming of sexual assault.
If you are arrested, charged with a crime, and found guilty of a crime, yes, you can be deported. You cannot be found guilty of a crime based on your wife making a false accusation.
All right. That means whatever kind of allegations she is putting regarding
all the
sex.
allegations she wants, unless you are convicted of a crime, it doesn't matter. What you need, listen to me. You don't need me. You need a family court lawyer to go to family court and tell a judge all of this is BS. She's making this stuff up, and deal with your separation in family court, but this has nothing to do with immigration.
So no, I'm gonna ask the implications of this on my green card or citizenship, which is gonna be due in 2 years' time.
Unless you are arrested and convicted of a crime, there's no implication.
So the kind of allegations she is putting on me regarding sexual assault and abandoning the family.
Listen to the words coming out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question first. Is anything she's saying true?
No, these are all false allegations.
Have you ever sexually abused her or your children?
Never.
Or her mother?
Never.
Okay, so then you don't have anything to worry about. Get a family court lawyer.
And during this tenure, for example,
ask me one more time, I'm going to tell you the same thing.
Yeah.
Get a family. You don't have an immigration question, Bilal.
Yeah. So during in this scenario, can I come and travel to Pakistan and come back?
You don't have an immigration problem. Unless you are arrested and convicted of a crime.
All right. And just allow me 1 minute. And also, if I divorce her or she divorces me, like, is it going to affect my immigration?
You do not have an immigration problem. You have a 10-year green card. You don't have to stay with her anymore.
And if I divorces her, it's
still not going to affect... You don't have an immigration problem. You can get divorced. You have a 10-year green card. You have children with her. You've proved it's a bona fide marriage.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're all good.
I really appreciate you.
Worry. Just,
Thank you so
honey,
much.
Worry, but don't worry about
and one-
immigration. Worry about all this other stuff in your life, but not about immigration.
And one more question. They had signed for the form I-864, So since they abandoned me, can I sue them on that?
If you have a smart family court lawyer, he or she can go into court and demand that your wife support you 125% above the poverty level. That's a contract between her, you, and the government.
Should I have to go to family court?
Yes.
All right. So that means she's liable to me, right?
Yes, but I'm not a family court lawyer in New Jersey. I'm an immigration lawyer.
Thank you so much for your time, sir. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Ola in Orlando.
Hi, Brad. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you so much for everything you're doing for us. I just have a quick question to ask you. I just had my third marriage 2 weeks ago, and I'm about to file. Actually, I got married. My first marriage was in Nigeria, and I did the divorce in Nigeria. And I got to the U.S. in 2019, and I got married to a U.S. citizen who abused me, and I got the vow. But I fell in love again, and I got married again. So now the question is this: I did this marriage number 2. I did the divorce in January of last year, and when I'm about to file, my lawyer is telling me that the immigration doesn't like the divorce from Nigeria. I have to do another one. So I ended up doing another one that was finalized. Another one, the one that I did for the divorce from Nigeria, I had to do it over again.
In the United States?
And now I'm sorry?
You had to redo it in the United States?
Yes. So now I'm just thinking, is it going to be a problem that marriage number 2, the divorce was in January last year, and marriage number 1, divorce was in November last year? The time difference, is it going to be a problem with the immigration?
Let me just get this straight. You were married to a woman from Nigeria.
Correct.
And
in
you
Nigeria.
have a divorce from Nigeria from when?
That divorce was done in 2018.
Okay. Forget that divorce. The divorce in the United States from the Nigerian marriage was when?
It was November last year.
November of 2021.
Correct.
And then you have a second marriage when?
2019.
To an American?
To an American, yeah.
And what happened with that case?
I got into, she was abusive and never did nothing for me until I applied for VAWA and I got a prima facie and we divorced in January 2021, last year.
Well, you certainly complicated everything because this is the way you would look at it. If your divorce from Nigeria is no good, then your marriage to wife in the United States is no good. Your VAWA case is no good because you were never legally married to her. So you were only so. Just hear me out. Hear me out.
Okay, go ahead.
So then you're only married to one person, which is the woman in Nigeria who you divorced in November of 2019.
Right.
If, on the other hand, your divorce is valid from Nigeria, the problem why I'm sure your lawyer said, you know, that the U.S. doesn't believe any divorce from Nigeria. Okay.
Correct.
So if that's the case, then you have a divorce from Nigeria. It's legal. You married another woman, abused, you filed, and then you unnecessarily did a second divorce from woman number 1. You're just going to have a lot of explanations to immigration. It just really complicated things.
Right, because I just got married like 2 weeks ago to.
You're in a legal marriage no matter what. You just have a lot of complications.
Right. So what do you think? Is that going to be like a big problem to them?
I think you've complicated yourself, yes. So it just needs a lot more explanation. Hold on.
Yeah.
I don't have an answer for you other than you've complicated it because you may have your second VAWA case may not have been legal because you were never legally divorced from the first woman. So you just complicated things. Hold on. I mean, the answer is you're still legally married to wife number 2 and you'll file an adjustment. You just a lot of explanations. And hopefully they don't say there's any misrepresentation. So hold on. Let's go to Tanique in Orlando.
Hey, Brad, how you doing?
How are you?
I'm doing okay. I have a question. I have 2 questions. I did an expedite request about on the 13th, on the 14th of February. It was approved, right? And then I received an email from the embassy, from NVC stating that they sent my case to Kingston. That was last week, but I still haven't heard anything from them. You know, like how long that will take. Why is your case
in Kingston if you're in Orlando, Florida?
Oh, my daughter is in Jamaica.
Oh, I see. Okay. So let me explain something to you.
Mm-hmm.
There's an expedite at USCIS. There's a second expedite at NVC. And then when your case gets to Kingston, they're backed up too. You got to file another expedite in Kingston.
Oh.
All right?
Okay.
All right, so do that. And then call me back.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go to Monique in the Bronx.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello, good night, Mr. Brad.
How are you?
I'm fine, and yourself?
Great. What's going on?
Yes. I received a 10-year green card in 2019, and I'm still married legally, but we are no longer living together. I know they said after 3 years after receiving the green card, you could apply for your citizenship. So my question is, knowing that we're no longer living together...
No, you can't do it based on 3 years anymore. When did you get your conditional green card?
No, I just received a straight 10-year green card.
Okay. Oh, so that was when, 2019?
Yes, April 2019.
All right, so in January, February, March, in February of 2024, you're going to do your citizenship.
Oh, so they changed it?
No, it's always been that way. If you have to prove to do your citizenship based on 3 years of having a green card. You have to prove for those three years you were in a bona fide marriage with a U.S. citizen, which you were in a bona fide marriage at some point in time, but you're not at this moment. You're separated.
No, we're still married, but we're no longer living together.
Legally married is different than bona fide married.
Yes.
That's a legal term.
Mm-hmm.
So February 2024 for you.
Even if we're no longer filing taxes either?
Even if any question you ask me in any scenario, if you and your spouse do not live together, my answer will never ever change. It will be February 2024.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I understand that part, but I still can do it that time, even if we no longer have anything together, right?
In February 2024, you can do your citizenship, whether you are together with your spouse or not, whether you have things together with your spouse or not, whether you're married or divorced. It doesn't matter.
Okay. Thank you so much.
So your spouse is out of the picture on your citizenship for February 2024.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Angel in Elmont. Angel in Elmont.
Hello, good night.
Hi, how are you, Angel?
I'm not too bad. How are you doing?
Great. What's going on?
So I'm a green card holder, and my daughter came up here when she was 14 years old, and I filed I-130 when she was 15, and now we're waiting on an interview in Jamaica. What do you think we should do?
Was the I-130 approved?
Yes, it was documentally qualified.
All right, so when she gets the appointment, go down to Jamaica, pick up her green card, and come back, as long as she leaves and returns before she's 18.
She is 18 right now.
When does she turn 18 years and 180 days?
She was 18 November.
Okay, the bars start, the bar to return starts 180 days after her 18th birthday.
Okay, so after
now let me ask you this question.
All right.
You got your green card when?
2 years ago.
Only 2 years ago? Okay.
Yeah.
Who sponsored you?
My son.
Your son. Okay. I would strongly urge your daughter to leave the count 180 days from her 18th birthday and leave the United States within about 150 days. And make sure she doesn't have a bar to reentry. And then see if you can contact the National Visa Center and the Jamaican Embassy to try to expedite the case.
We did try that, but they denied it.
Okay. Do you have an attorney?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know what you said to try to expedite it. But, you know, it doesn't seem like your daughter's going to have a place to live in Jamaica. But she has to leave within 150 days of her. I would suggest she leaves within 150 days of her 18th birthday because she's going to get an appointment shortly thereafter.
Okay.
Angel, you with me? It doesn't seem like you're with me here.
I'm here. Thank you.
Okay. Let's go to Sienna in Brooklyn.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, how are you?
Very good. My daughter's father, he filed for my 13-year-old daughter, and I think it was Monday, he said he received a Social Security card for my 13-year-old daughter in the mail. But then when he sent me the picture, it said valid for work only with DHS authorization.
Uh-huh.
And I was just wondering, since she's 13 years old, like, why would they, send a Social Security card with that written on it? Because she can't work because she's 13?
Well, it just comes off the computer like that. It's a good Social Security number. It's going to be her number for life. Once she gets her green card, you can apply for a new one. It won't have that emblem on it.
Oh, so the number sticks with her
for life,
for the rest of her life.
Correct.
But then when she gets her green card, I could just apply for another
for
one?
A new card that won't have that emblem on it.
Oh, it won't have that on it, but it doesn't matter with the DHS stamp on it?
No. For her purposes, you need her Social Security number, go to school to, put her as a dependent on a tax return, you can use the number.
Okay. And, one more thing, though. Mm-hmm. Since he got the card on Monday, can he put her down on his taxes as his dependent?
If you guys live together, sure.
Okay. All righty. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Let's go to Navdeep in Philadelphia.
Hi. Good evening, Brad, sir.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good, sir. I applied my VAWA in 2019, and I received my EAD C31 and approval notice. My VAWA approved last year.
Great.
And in the 2022, USCI sent me same receipt notice again for VAWA and
Great.
Same instruction on that. So my VAWA.
You have an approval notice? Did you file an adjustment?
Yes, sir. Yes, I have approval notice. Actually, I have
filed an adjustment application?
I have a withholding of removal, so I filed with the court, and court gave me an individual hearing.
Okay, so hopefully you can reopen your case and adjust your status before the judge.
So they sent me receipt notice, so it's by mistake?
Probably, most likely.
Okay, so I have just a last question. Can I travel outside?
No, because you're in deportation. Wait till you get your green card.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Let's go to Austin and Bridgeport.
Hey, Brad, how you doing?
Hi, how are you?
I'm pretty good. Got a question for you. I'm a green card holder. I got married a little over 6 months ago. I'm wondering, how long do we have to wait to put in the paperwork for my wife?
Right now.
So we can apply even though I'm still have a green card?
You can apply for an I-130 if your wife has overstayed her visa.
Yeah.
Unless she's 245I, which means she had something filed before April 30th, 2001, or she was derivative on a parent's case filed before 2001. All you're going to do right now is file an I-130. If she came on a legal visa overstayed and you become a citizen, then you file your adjustment. But if you're asking me when can you file an I-130 now.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
I appreciate you.
Okay. Esther in Philly. Esther.
Yes, hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? So, I have a question for my sister.
Esther, I don't hear you. Speak up.
Can you hear me now?
A little better.
Oh, okay. I have a question for my sister. She had an interview for citizenship last week. And they told her last week.
Esther, call back. Satya in Irving, Texas.
Yeah, hi, this is
Hi,
Satya.
how are you?
How are you doing?
I don't hear
Good,
you,
thank
Satya.
you. Yeah, are you able to hear me now?
Now I hear you. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I have one question. In my first name, I have 4 words, but when I entered first time in US, they in the I-94 they mentioned only the first word. Then I went to Homeland Security
Wait, what? You have 4 words in your name? What kind of statement is
first
that? What do you
name.
mean 4 words in your name?
I mean, it's like Satya Rama Sevavara.
Okay, all right. So you have 4. You
Words.
have a first name and 3 middle names, right?
I mean, those are not middle names. Those are also
All
comes
part
under first
of
name.
your first name.
It's all 4 words comes under first name only.
Okay, all right. So what's
Yeah.
the problem?
Yeah. So when I came to US, they considered only 1 word and they put it in the I-94. Okay. Then I went
Because
to
in the
Homeland
United
Security.
States, the first word in your name, at least in United States custom, is your first name, and any other words that come after are considered your middle name. So that's probably what happened.
Okay, yeah, that happened. But when I went to Homeland Security and asked them, then they included all words in my
Okay,
first
fabulous.
name.
So what's your question?
Okay, now the thing is, after that I went to India and I came back. I did couple of times. So each time they are removing 1 word from my first name.
Yeah, because it's not the custom to have four first names.
Okay, so will there be any problem in my future, immigration related, like in case if I apply for green card or something, will there be any problem?
No.
Okay, cool. That's good. And the second question is, yeah, my daughter, she born in US, and in future, if we went to India and when she complete 18, can she get citizenship and can she sponsor us green card?
Your daughter, who was born in the United States, is a citizen right now. So
Okay.
she should get a U.S. passport now, especially if you plan on taking her back to India. It's going to be very difficult to prove that this baby, who never got a passport, is the same person when they're 18 years old. So get the U.S. passport now.
Yeah.
Your daughter
She
can
got the
sponsor
US
you when
passport.
she's 21, not when she's 18.
Oh, okay. When she is 21. Okay. At the time of 21, she should be in US or she can be in India?
She should be in the United States because she's asking her parents to join her in the United States.
Oh, okay. Cool.
How old
Thank
is
you
she
very
now?
much. She is 2.5.
Okay. In 18 years, you call me and I'll tell you what the law is.
Okay, sure.
All right. I don't
Thank you very
know.
much.
I don't know what the law will be in 18 years from now, whether she has to be in the U.S. or not.
Okay.
All right, Satya?
Okay, yes.
You're all good.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Let's go to Fofana in East Orange, New Jersey. Fofana.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, how are you?
Very good. Okay, I don't know how to start, but I have a case. I entered this country in 2010. And then I applied for asylum. And then I was denied with a self-deportation. And, hello?
I'm listening.
Yes, and when I get deportation, I didn't go. And then I was here, living here. And then in 2017, I meet my wife. We get married. We got 2 children now.
Great.
And then she's getting a U.S. Citizen.
Great.
So we see a lawyer. And then a lawyer apply for I-30. And then we go to a court. I think I-30 is fine. It's good. So I want to know what is my next step now.
Make a motion to if your I-130 has been approved, make a motion to reopen your deportation.
Okay, now I got one more question. When I come into this country, I come with somebody's name. I didn't come with my name.
All right, so you have to admit that. So you have a misrepresentation. You need a waiver as well. But you need to reopen your case. You only have one. You have one application to make a motion to reopen. You can't keep doing them 100 times.
No,
So
because one and 2000.
Fafana, make sure you do it right. Now you're asking me. You say, what's my next step? You make a motion to reopen. You're like, oh, what's the form? There is no form. You just have to make a really good legal argument, have a good lawyer who knows how to make that legal argument. You have one opportunity to do it. You're not going to be able to do it yourself. And if you have a lawyer, and you have to call me to find out what your lawyer's next step is, you got the wrong lawyer.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm just being quite frank. Let's go to Esther in Philadelphia. Esther.
Yes.
How are you?
So sorry. Good. So yes, as I was saying, my sister had an appointment for citizenship last week, Friday. So, but they told her she had to prove a marriage. She came here 2014, and she came with her husband actually, but she don't have anything to prove because they never filed tax together, and they wasn't living together. They were separated since they came. So I don't know. Is there any other way to prove a bona fide marriage?
She has a green card?
Yes.
So what happened? She got sponsored. She came here directly with a green card, but it was a very short marriage between her and her husband.
Yes. She came with DV2. She and her husband.
Was there ever a period of time, even for one day, that her and her husband lived together?
Yes.
Okay, so, it was short-lived, but legitimate. I don't have an answer for you. What should she do? I think she needs a consultation, and I can talk it out with her and figure it out. But I don't have an answer like, oh, she doesn't have a joint tax return with her husband, then, fill out the form 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's no such thing. I would need to speak to her and figure it out.
Okay.
All right, hold on. Let's go to Moses in Houston.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
All right. Actually, I have a quick question. Right now, I'm a citizen. My son is home in Togo. I don't know. I wanted to know if there's a way I can apply for N600 for him.
Okay. How old's your son?
She's 7.
Your son is 7. When did you become a citizen?
Last month.
He is not you cannot file an N600. Your son is not a citizen. You have to file an I-130 visa petition for your son. When he arrives in the United States as a lawful resident, and he comes and lives with you in your legal and physical custody before his 18th birthday, at that point, you would file an N600 for his certificate of citizenship.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. And by the way, if you did not get your immigration questions asked and answered, you could always follow me on Instagram. It's working today. There we have it. At Real Brad Bernstein, drop me a DM. I will try to answer your questions as best as I can. Sometimes it takes me a day or two. Sometimes I'm slow. Sometimes I'm fast. But you could always follow me at Real Brad Bernstein on Instagram. Drop me a DM. I'll try to help you as best as I can. You could also follow us at Bradshaw Live. As I say all the time, you don't like 2 hours of me and Yonathan and the squad, but you can handle about 45 seconds. Check us out on Instagram at Bradshaw Live. And of course, our fastest growing social media platform, TikTok at Bradshaw Live, coming up on 100,000 followers in less than a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, one video with 2.5 million views. Drop me a question, and maybe you will be lucky enough for me to answer it. I don't answer all of them, but maybe you'll be lucky enough for me to answer it. A personalized video answering your immigration question for the entire world to see.
And you guys can follow me at Yonathan Elias TV on Instagram.
And of course, later in the show, we are throwing it back to the time when Yo-Yo Yogurt, and I match wits at an International Women's Day game.
Yes, and before that, we asked some women what their International Women's Day means to them. Now I want to know, what does it mean to you guys, squad? Let us know in the comments.
My message for International Women's Day is for everyone to join together, all women of all ages and all sizes and all shapes, to support and love one another, because today is such a beautiful and special day.
My message on International Women's Day is to celebrate empowerment of women.
Should stay independent, go out there, do things for themselves, and if you want to achieve something in life, you will definitely achieve it.
To keep moving forward.
My message for International Women's Day is equality for women all over the world.
I hope for the international days, that's today, is that every woman is just reach the potential and every man help her. I just hope that every man in every part of this world understand that the woman are just the same. We are equal in every aspect, physical, mental, emotional, and we can reach the same goal.
All right, social media check-in. We got to move it along here. Let's do it.
All right, George Adesoman on Facebook. My daughter got her 10-year green card September 2019. I want to know when she's due to file for her citizenship. She got her green card through my 5-year marriage to her stepmother.
In September 2024.
Ashwini T on YouTube. I have my H-1B stamp with my prior employer, which is valid until 2023. Now I changed my employer and I'm visiting my country with a new I-797. Since I changed my employer, do I need to get new stamping?
No, as long as you have a valid visa, travel back. It's fine.
God's Grace on YouTube. I'm in the F1 category. If I overstay my visa and live here for 10 years, am I exempt from the provisional waiver?
No, you still have a 10-year bar. It starts when you leave, not because you evaded law for 10 years.
Navdeep Rajput on YouTube. I have already had my VAWA approved in 2021. I received an approval notice, and USCIS sent me a receipt notice again on the same receipt number last night.
Yeah, we spoke to him. We spoke to him. We said it was a mistake, probably.
Oh, okay. Felicidad Hernandez on Facebook. I want to adopt my nephew from Mexico. Tomorrow he's turning 14. I'm applying for citizenship in a couple of months. What are the steps to bringing him to the to LA?
Well, you gotta show he's an orphan and get approved for a pre-adoption. Go through a social worker. It's a whole mishigas of stuff to do. You need to speak to an attorney.
Tanya Smith on YouTube. I'm currently on my priority date, March 2016, in the F2B category, and I'm currently waiting for an interview to be scheduled in Jamaica. Can you please give an update on Jamaican embassy?
Really, really extraordinarily slow and backed up.
Denise Khan on Facebook. Can you use your work permit to apply for an ID card and driver's license and open a bank account, etc.?
Yes.
Yvonne Cole on YouTube. My husband came here and had a stroke, so I filed an extension in June of 2021. He did his fingerprints, but it's still waiting for an answer. I also filed another petition in November of 2021, and we're still waiting. What can we do?
Petition for what? An extension of his visitor's visa? Maybe you want deferred enforced departure because he can't travel.
Daphne Blackwood on YouTube. I petitioned for my 18-year-old adopted son in 2018. In 2020, I became a citizen and notified NVC. They said I have to wait. I've been waiting for 16 months. What can I do? He's in Jamaica.
Well, I hope you adopted him before he's 16. You got to prove that you lived with him for 2 years. The adoption occurred before 16. And you've had legal guardianship of him for 2 years. If you filed for him and you're waiting over 2 years and you're a citizen and he was under 21 when you filed and qualifies as an adopted person, you need to file a mandamus.
Orlando on YouTube. I did an adjustment in April in 2021 and got 2-year employment authorization document in November and a SSN in January. Do you think I'll get an interview date? My May will be 2 years I've been married. I live in Alabama.
You should be getting one very soon.
Javier Rodriguez on YouTube. Can an I-130 be approved if in 2007 a CBP officer denied my entry and canceled my tourist visa? I do actually live in the U.S.
If you were summarily excluded and left the United States, then you got ordered deported, and if you came back without permission, you got a problem. If they asked you to withdraw your admission, you left, and then made a legal entry in the future, you're okay.
Power Concepts on YouTube. My husband is a perm resident. He filed for me in 2019. We got approved in 2020. I'm awaiting my interview in Guyana. Can I have my interview relocated to the U.S. and also can I live with him while I wait?
No, there's no such thing as relocating an interview to the U.S. If you're in Guyana, contact the U.S. consulate. You should be getting an interview hopefully soon.
Anu Chandra on YouTube. I have a hypothetical question. Can you file for VAWA in the U.S. and go and live in India or change a VAWA to consular processing at any time?
Yes.
And last one, Annalie Parker on Facebook. I'm 22 years old.
But you may, if you leave, if you overstage your time by more than a year, you may have a 10-year bar. VAWA doesn't overcome that.
Annalie Parker on Facebook. I'm a 22-year-old on F1 student visa and currently doing my OPT, which ends July of this year. My boyfriend, who's a US-born citizen, wants us to get married so he can file for me. However, my mom just got her green card and wants to file for me. Out of my boyfriend or my mother filing for me, which application would make me get a work authorization faster?
Married to a US citizen.
All right.
All right. In honor of International Women's Day, we are throwing it back to 2019 when Yonathan and I went head-to-head in an International Women's Day game, refereed by the one and only Jennifer from the Cubicle. Bringing her back. Aww. Let's see how we do and play along at home. So it is International Women's Day, and it is an opportunity for to celebrate womanhood and reflect back on the incredible contributions of women around the world throughout time and throughout space. Mm-hmm. So we were inspired to look back on the struggles and accomplishments of women around the world and pay tribute to some noteworthy change-making women in an International Women's Day game, which we have referred to by the one and only Jennifer from the Cubicle. Jenny from the Cubicle has come to join us.
Out of her cubicle.
Yeah, she's out of the cubicle. Jenny from the Cubicle.
I didn't even see you pop
Yes.
Yeah.
Jenny has a game. Do you want to explain the game, Jenny?
Sure.
Okay, what's the game?
So the game is in honor of International Women's Day. They brought a woman out to be the moderator.
Correct. Represent.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're gonna
you're gonna tell us a little bit about what these famous women did.
So what we're gonna do is I'm going to read a bio or a synopsis of what a badass woman has done in history / or present day, and you're going to guess who this woman is. And I'm going to give you different bullets to see if you can guess who it is. So there's going to be options.
Like multiple choice?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Our first wonderful woman of the hour is a civil rights activist and journalist who played a crucial role in battling segregation and documenting the struggle through the power of her pen. Together with her husband, she published the Arkansas State Press, a weekly African-American newspaper, and the paper served as a way to advocate for civil rights and highlight the accomplishments of African Americans in Arkansas. She was instrumental in mentoring the famous Little Rock Nine, the first 9 African American students to enroll in all-white schools after the Supreme Court's desegregation ruling in Brown versus Board of Ed. So, is it A, Dorothy Height? Is it B, Diane Nash? Is it C, Amelia Boynton? Is it D, Daisy Bates? E, Fannie Lou Hammer?
Dorothy Height.
Dorothy Height, and you say?
Daisy.
Daisy? Okay, and the answer is?
There's no trouble.
Okay. Daisy Bates.
You got it right.
Wow.
Good job,
Very good
Yonathan.
guess. Did you know that?
I knew Daisy was the first lady of Little Rock.
Oh, okay. So that was a good guess. Right. It was. I did not know that. I actually never. I don't know that name. I heard of some of those names, but I didn't know. So I took a wild guess.
Yeah. Our next woman, she takes us to Germany, circa 1742. Where the first woman...
Neither of us are going to know this one. Germany, circa 1742. Okay, yes. Good luck, Brad and Yonathan.
Right. Is it out of 2?
Strap yourselves in for this one. Where the first woman doctor in Germany was fighting for her right to attend university and study medicine. The daughter of a doctor herself, she took an early interest in medicine with the full support of her father, who believed all of his children deserved a good education. As a young woman, she studied medicine independently, immersing herself in medical theories that ultimately led her to challenge the idea that women weren't fit to practice medicine. Is it A, Dorothea Exorben, B. Caroline Herschel, C. Clara Schumann, D. Elke Sommer, E. Herta Mueller.
Dorothea.
I say it's Clara.
Dorothea.
It's Clara.
Okay, and the
The
answer
only name I
is-
ever heard of on that was Clara. That's the only name of all of them. I don't even know what Clara did, but I know I've heard that name before.
Dorothea.
Oh, come on, Yonathan! Come on, you got it right again!
All right, so their next contendant. The woman was a revolutionary, a feminist, and a symbol of women's independence in China during the Qing dynasty. As a young woman trapped in an unhappy marriage, she began exploring exciting new ideas on women's rights and a new kind of government. Joining a growing movement aimed at overthrowing the Qing dynasty, she moved to Tokyo, Japan, where she could write more freely and enroll in school to learn the language, philosophy, and martial arts. She was known to wear Western-style men's clothing whenever she pleased, a radical move for Asian women of her time. Is she A. Song King Lang, B. Wu Yi, C. Qi Jin, D. San Mao, or E. Zhang King?
Qi Jin. C.
Since Yonathan cheated, I'm going to go with C also, since he obviously knows the answer. I'm doing C too.
Qi Jin.
Qi Jin, that's exactly the answer.
That's the answer.
That's the answer! Come on, I knew it.
Are you serious?
I
so
knew
serious.
it. I totally knew it.
What?
I said whatever Yonathan looked, so I'm like, whatever
I
he says.
swear. Everything I love.
All right, our next wonderful woman is a pioneer of the women's rights movement in Iran. For decades now, she has been putting her own security on the line in the name of elevating the stories of women in Iran and providing serious coverage of their rights in her home country. An established journalist, she founded Zanan, meaning woman, a magazine in 1992 as a response to the lack of women's rights coverage by the mainstream media. The only Persian women's magazine in Iran, their stories addressed issues of gender equality, domestic abuse, sex education, and other topics largely deemed objectionable by the Iranian government.
Is this a current modern-day woman?
Present.
Present-day,
this is
modern-day
present?
woman.
Yes.
And she's from Iran?
And she was born in 1956. And is it A. Christine Amanpour, B. Shala Shirkat, C. Shireen Ebadi, D. Shireen Nishat, or E. Mariam Mirzurkhani?
I say the second one, B.
I say E.
B.
Mariam.
B. And Yonathan, what was yours?
E. Mariam.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why I say B.
Why?
Because that was the picture, that looked like a picture of somebody.
From 1956?
No, from like present day, like getting an award, and there was like some artist giving her, you know, and that's what, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It looked like something like she won something.
You're right.
I saw 1990, 2005,
Ooh, smart
present
guy.
day.
And Brad is right.
Right, yeah, so I just did it based on the picture.
That's good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good job.
Good job,
Yeah.
Brad. All right, our next woman is a Pakistani activist for female education and the youngest Nobel Peace Prize laureate. She was born in the Swat district of northwestern Pakistan and used the media to continue her public campaign for her right to go to school. Her voice grew louder, and over the course of the next 3 years, she and her father became known throughout Pakistan for determination to give Pakistani girls access to free, quality education. After having blogged for the BBC about her experiences during the Taliban's growing influence in the region, in 2012, the Taliban attempted to assassinate her on the bus home from school on the morning of
Wow.
October 9, 2012. She was just 15 years old at the time.
Wow.
The choices are A. Roshne Zafar, B. Jahan Ara, C. Sheba Najmi, D. Malala Yousafzai, E. Sabine Mahmood.
C.
You say C and you say D. Malala?
Yeah.
And the answer is Malala.
Yes. I said I knew who the person was. I had
Yeah.
to think of her name. I didn't, you know.
Good job,
If
Brad.
you asked me what her name was, I couldn't tell you, but I said, let me think it through, and I hear it a second
job.
time. Yes.
And our last woman we're going to feature tonight, she was a Mexican artist who painted many portraits, self-portraits, and works inspired by the nature and artifacts of Mexico. She was inspired by the country's popular culture. She employed a native folk art style to explore questions of identity, post-colonialism, gender, class, and race in Mexican society. Her paintings often had strong autobiographical elements and mixed realism with fantasy. Is she A, Maria Izquierdo, B, Frida Kahlo, C, Rosaria Cabrera, or D, Aurora Reyes Flores?
Rosaria Cabrera.
I'll say A.
Maria? And Brad, you say Rosaria?
Yes.
Neither are correct. It is Frida Kahlo.
I was gonna say Frida too. Oh, because I know Frida. I didn't hear. I know of her.
I thought you.
Oh man.
All right, so I think we were both 3 for 3, but most important is that I learned a lot more.
Yes.
You know, we don't learn enough about famous women in history.
That's very
that is
true.
very
right,
true.
you know, because in school I never learned about any of these people.
Yeah.
Right, but I'm glad that we learned, and it's good, and thank you very
Thank
much, Jenny
you.
from the cubicle. That
Cubicle
was
Jenny.
fabulous. The funny thing is Yonathan and I are watching. I go, man, you
Right.
cheated. You knew the answers.
I
And he
had
goes,
no-
I swear I didn't know.
And I say
then
exactly
like 5
like-
seconds later, I said to him on the tape, you
Right.
cheated. He goes, I swear I didn't know.
They
It
would
was
not
like-
let us know any of the questions.
I'm like,
I
how
had
did
no
you know this
idea.
stuff?
But we tied.
Yes, 3 to 3.
So we were
All
both right.
Okay.
I won and you won.
All right. All right. Speed round. Let's do it. 10 questions.
All right.
50 seconds. All right. You ready? 50 seconds on the clock. 10 questions.
Can I proceed my application after my citizen spouse passed away?
Yes.
Can I get enhanced license with DACA through I have,
You have a
though I
work
have
permit,
regular...
yes.
Okay. How long does it take to get a green card based on VAWA?
At least 3 years.
If someone got their green card on 5/5/17, can they file N-400 today?
No, you have to, yes, because we were in March 2022.
How long to transfer an immigrant visa case to another country for an interview?
A long time.
How long does it take to get a receipt from USCIS confirming your asylum application?
At least 3 months.
How long to hear back from immigration after biometrics?
A long time.
Do you need the AOS right away after you file for your parents?
If they're here, you should file the adjustment immediately.
Can I petition for my son who's 20 years old if I'm a green card holder?
Of course, if he's single.
Can I pay a law firm in the U.S. to sponsor my visa to the U.S.?
If they have a job for you. I did it. I did. I didn't understand the last question. Were they asking, can a law firm sponsor you? The answer is yes. If they have a job for you, if they say, can I hire a law firm as part of this? Yeah, you can hire any law firm you want. Either way, the answer is yes.
Right. There you go.
We got it.
We got it.
What do you say, Ian? Yes.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
All right. Where are the balloons? Let's do it. We all agree. There we go. 2 in a row, yo.
2 in a row.
We did it.
Hard.
2 in a row.
Hard.
Much harder. Because you can't stumble.
At all.
Our 10 questions in 50 seconds. If you stumble,
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. Right. All right. Let's go comments of the day. Comments of the day. What do we got, Ian? Let's go.
All right, our first comment of the day comes from Don Harriet saying the ladies of Spar and Bernstein are beautiful. Happy Women's Day to all of the ladies. I like
very
that.
true,
Yeah, they
yes.
are. They are. And our next comment of the day. Joan Erica saying Brad is the best. I have the greatest respect for him. I need to develop the traits of Brad.
Oh, wow.
Develop the traits of Brad.
Just watch. It'll all come to you through
It will.
osmosis.
It will. All right, next one. Awele Enoch saying, this is my attorney. If you don't use Brad for your immigration case, you're a joke. Have referred my family and friends. He is the best.
She called people out as a joke?
Yep.
You're a joke.
Look, they can say it. They can say it.
All right.
And our last comment of the day. Carol Burrell saying, independence, that's what International Women's Day means to me. The opportunity to work and take care of myself. I may not be rich, but I'm comfortable.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. All right. That's a wrap for Tuesday Tea.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, Yo-Yo's favorite day of the week, Hump Day. We'll see you all. Thanks for watching. So Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAW-LINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And visit us now at our Connecticut office, 221 Main Street, Suite 501, Hartford, Connecticut. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAW-LINK, 1-800-529-5465. What are you doing?